in California. I'm here at the Bisimoto headquarters with the team. And unfortunately, I've had some technical difficulties getting on board here with all of you through Instagram, YouTube, and also TikTok. Also with my podcasting, it's really misbehaving. So I'm trying to see what I can do to make sure that everything goes very smoothly. My sincere apologies about last week. I was traveling, so I couldn't come in and hang out with you, all friends and family from around the world. Nate here, or Nat here on TikTok is saying hello to you as well. Greetings, Heavyfoot94 on Instagram, Float Topper in Germany. Thank you so much for joining us from overseas. Juan Cruz Bono, thank you for joining. Appreciate you indeed. Have a few people coming in here on YouTube as well, so thank you so much for joining and allowing me to have this wonderful opportunity for an archiving moment. Giovanni CP Motorsports, good afternoon, sir. Hopefully you are doing well. Nice Garage says Megatron on TikTok. Thank you so much. Have a variety of cars here. The Moby, as you can see, is back from the Peterson Museum, is on display at the We Are Porsche exhibit commemorating 75 years of the brand. The M16 is here, about to do another tour to the East Coast. We have a electric 356 right there, back there as well. A 935 petrol getting built, and a beautiful, gorgeous 930 with a ducktail that's getting the Bisimoto treatment as well. One has a question on TikTok, and Megatron is asking where we're located. We are here in Ontario, California. Not Canada, but Ontario, California. I'm still trying to log on here to my podcasting. It's still misbehaving. But if not, maybe they'll just have to do without some Bisimoto love. We have a shop of cars also, says Megatron. Where are you, Megatron? Let me know. But thank you so much for joining. And guys, once again, my sincere apologies for not being here last week. I was traveling quite a bit and wasn't able to come on board and try to offer you, but I'm here now in the flesh. Dream Car is asking Chris the Natural. It'll be something pretty much that I would like to build myself, which is coming very soon. It'll be something that is extremely powerful as always, with creature comforts, extremely unique, not something I can just buy or rather build myself, and something that has zero emissions, if that makes sense, you know? Will you be attending any cars and copters this year? Not, I just may in the greater Southern California area. I think Amy Shackerford, Petrol Girl on Instagram, and her team has put those together. I couldn't attend the one last year that had this car, but my friends at Brixton took it. So unfortunately, I didn't have that opportunity. So yeah, that'd be good. Mr. Bisimoto, how do I turbo my GK5 Fit, says Mac, which has an L15. Very simple, very simple. I had the opportunity to be able to explore that. What's a little difficult with the GK5 is that it's direct injection. So what I did when we built this, I think it was like almost a 400 horsepower GK5 Fit, is we had the opportunity to remove the direct injection, get a custom manifold through Golden Eagle, put in port injectors with AM Infinity. We sleeved the block, did some Bisimoto cams and valve train, and a smaller size turbo. I think it was like a 57mm turbo. And with some tuning, and the gearbox did hold, which is quite interesting. An action clutch, we're able to achieve that on E85. Using the factory fuel tank. So we're able to use like an AEM in tank pump, and that was it. Brady's asking on TikTok, is that a 935? Yes, there are actually two of them. There's a blue one right here, which is 935 M16, and the black one, which is a Moby 935 indeed. Who did I miss here? Boer LA Cov says, thanks for taking photos on EVCS charging station. I've been following you for a while, adore your style. Thank you so much, Boer LA Cov. Hopefully I'm saying it properly, but my pleasure indeed. Are you part of the EVCS? You guys are quite a lifesaver when I was out in the greater LA downtown area, which is pretty nice indeed, you know? John Tuck says, what up BC here on YouTube. Hello, sir. Hopefully you're doing well. Any upgrades for the new GMC Canyon with the 2.7 turbo 4-cylinder? I know that our friends from HP Tuners, there you go, they're thinking about having an opportunity for a flash situation there. So ping them, shoot them an email. There's some interest, and interest is what guides their efforts. Send them an email, hit them up on Instagram, hit them up on YouTube, and they will have a flash opportunity for you. You just need to see that demand indeed, you know? Let's see here, what did I miss? Oh, I said it right, Burr LA Cop. Thank you so much, glad to hear that. Gasket Head says, yeah, BC, hello again from Whistler, British Columbia. Appreciate the time you take to do this. Thank you so much. Just trying to give back. This country has been so great to me. I have a great team here. It's my way of really giving back to a nation and an environment that allowed me to have a decent living and also to create wonderful opportunities for enjoyment for many enthusiasts all across the board, either physically or through our efforts indirectly. Let's see here. Love HP Tuners, says Shane. Yeah, they make life much easier for a lot of tuners and builders out there, especially with platforms that don't have full engine management solutions. So it's really good indeed. I'm working on a fourth version of your 1,000 horsepower Odyssey, says Shane, with my Windstar and with the supercharged V6. That should be fun. Please send some details as it comes live. Even here on TikTok, just tag me on some of the stuff. So I'd like to take a look. Send me a message even. Show me some progress. I love vans. I have a soft spot for vans and wagons. Love them. How you been? Says Clubberlang777 on TikTok. How's the wagon and shop in Ontario? Wagon is here, resting, and the shop is plugging along accordingly. Team and I continue to build some cool stuff. This should be a really magnificent year in terms of projects and technology. Tyler Rousseau, hello Tyler, long time no see. Hope you're doing well, man. Yes, I am. Thank you so much for the kind words. United States of America on YouTube saying, yo, thank you so much. Do you sell cars, says Mercedes Traz 68. Only vehicles we build, typically if someone wants it and the price is right, we'd be more than happy to part with them, but typically we do tend to keep our cars in-house that we build. Hey Jess, how are you? Jess Wood is there, someone who's been just a wonderful influence on my life and someone who's made my interaction just so amazing, calms me down, just a great love of my life, just a wonderful person, and so glad to see her here as well. Maybe we can have a good discussion, says Bert L.A. Kov. That's why I'm here, to provide that wonderful opportunity. What schooling did you do for Porsche Tech, says Uriel Gonzalez. I did something quite unique, Uriel, here on YouTube. When I came to the United States, I came to study engineering. I'm from Nigeria, West Africa. Did chemical engineering, believe it or not. A lot of people think I may have been an ME or an EE, but no, I'm a chemi. The cool thing is that during the time I was in school, I raced cars. I loved street racing, which I don't condone. It was very naughty of me at the time, but I did a lot of drag racing and semi-pro when I was scouted by American Honda, so we had a lot of fun doing that. And because of my interest in everything motorsports and also car-related, I took my engineering background and what I learned and tried to infuse it into the cars I was building at the time, and still doing it till today. It was a unique situation in the late 90s and early 2000s because you couldn't just call a shop like ours and get parts made or buy stuff. If you want to go faster, you had to figure things out yourself. So it kind of kept that creativity and curiosity going, being able to use a technical background and acumen to design and create and test parts without giving up. It was really hard. 80% of my experiments on cars failed. The 20 that did succeed did quite well, and I was able to break a ton of records and win a lot of races and make some decent money, which is good. And fast forward to today, I took the plunge in 2006 to open my own shop, putting away from pharmaceutical research and sales and getting into the motorsports arena. And it's been a great journey since then. Here I have a team here, and of course, no man is an island, so I couldn't achieve any of this without my illustrious team. So yeah, that being said, that's what got me to where I am today. I didn't study to be a Porsche tech. I just love technology, and whether it is a Porsche, Hyundai, Honda, Ford, whatever the case may be, I tend to use that same passion and enthusiasm to create products and to build builds that are quite exciting. So yeah, I'm not primarily Porsche, even though I have a lot of Porsches around me here, but as you go forward, a little bit forward down there, you can see a Rolls Royce over there. There's another unique one-off vehicle that's known as Kalani. There's a Neo right there with the gold wings open. As you go further down, there's some Hondas and, quite a bit of, how should I say, variety here at the Bisimoto facility, Will your velocity and an intercooler fit the Kona N? C-Blades, no, not without some major modification. It's not a bolt-on affair. The intercooler that we have, which is the most advanced for the N line in terms of Veloster and i30N, was designed for the automatic i30N, the manual, and the manual Veloster N. So that being said, unfortunately, it doesn't fit the Kona N directly. If the demand is there, we can create a design very similar, but if you want to incorporate that, it will take some fabrication indeed. Okay, let's see. Excuse me. HTX Zach is saying it's like Porsche Haven in the background. Thank you so much. Yes, I'm surrounded by some magnificent vehicles. If you want something standard 930, which that little, I don't know if you can see that little thing in the back right there. That's kind of a hint of what's going on into that vehicle. That is a fast charge port, so that's a little hint. Right here is a twin turbo petrol M16 with dual headlights, which is crazy. That's the very famous Moby Dick Porsche. It's a 356 right there as well. Another factory 935 body going on there. So yes, there's quite a few Porsches here. We're very proud to be surrounded by some amazing specimens of German engineering with some of our influence as well. All right, let's see here. Oh, thank you. Hello, Exo Truck. Good seeing you. Pierre DDEG saying, what should be the first mod on a 91 Civic Shuttle 1.6 liter four-wheel drive? It depends, but in my opinion, the most straightforward and easy modification, believe it or not, is engine oil. Yes, engine oil can be a performance enhancing device. Not all oils are created equally. I'm a big advocate of pure oil, and that particular brand has a chemical compound that's very unique with about 1,700 parts per million of zinc, which protects the internal combustion engine of yours that is an overhead cam D series, and those don't like low zinc oils. It tends to attack the valve train quite nicely. You don't want that. You want good protection, and because of its lubricity and how slippery it is, it can release some very nice power water protection as well. On my own single cam drag car, I picked up almost 20 wheel horsepower just on switching over from a standard Poplar high performance oil to the pure oil. So that being said, that would be a good upgrade for you. After that is the standard intake header exhaust. So depending on where you are in the world, if your jurisdiction allows you to do such modifications, a cold air intake, a DC or some type of tri-wire 4-to-1 header that's well designed can help, and a full exhaust to reduce some of that back pressure can help wake up your vehicle very nicely. Now, if you want to go really crazy, especially the fact that you have an all-wheel drive setup, which has a virtually indestructible pumpkin in terms of all-wheel drive applications that most people use for drag racing, go ahead and throw a turbo kit on that and you will just lose your mind. You can get away with, a little bit close to 200 horsepower on the stock motor, but if you want to have a lot of fun, you want to be north of 400, and all you have to do is leave your block, go with some Tron pistons, maybe 91, with some rods, and then a Bisimoto camshaft with some valve train, small, let's say 48mm turbo billet, and you will be off to the races, literally and figuratively, which is pretty nice indeed, Let them cook, says our friend here on Instagram. You left Moto and Amsoil, never used those brands. I've had clients come here and test, and the funny thing is how I met the guys from Purol is they sent me a variety of oils to test. Because of my relationship with a lot of OEMs, I was able to get a bone stock. This was a bone stock Hyundai. I think it was a Lantra GT, and I was able to test a variety, including the Moto and Amsoil. And by far, not only did Purol create a lot more power, the oil temps are much lower with Purol than I saw with those other brands as well. So that being said, never used them intimately because I've always had some relationships with another brand that started with a T that was even quite nice compared to the ones you just mentioned, Clubber. But the Purol, based upon my experience, has been the best compound I've seen to date. You have a Viper there, says Caitlin. No, I used to. I used to have a 2013 Viper GTS, but someone made me an offer. One of my neighbors here in the complex made an offer, and I couldn't refuse, and I let him have it. I swear about Royal Purple. Have you ever looked at the bottom of your bottle of your Royal Purple when you let it sit for a while? You see that, like, how can I say, dye collecting the bottom? That's not very good. Brad Penn, same thing. I tested that as well. Odor compound wasn't a group 4. One thing I like about the Purol is that it is a group 4 base stock in terms of what the oil has. Most oils have a variety of base stocks. Oh yeah, Clubber said, yeah, Torque, that's what I used to use. And then I gained horsepower, some good horsepower going to Purol from that particular brand. But long story short, not all oils are created equally. It's group 3 synthetic oils are pretty much hydrocracked mineral oils. Group 4 and 5 are the more the higher end. Purol is a combination of 4 and 5. And so the base oil is very, very stable in terms of chemical resilience. That's why it's extremely compatible with methanol and ethanol fuels, base fuels as well. Doesn't tend to disintegrate much easy and protect much better than the other oils. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but the Purol guys are really from the aviation field. And I am not surprised, because I kind of heard this in a roundabout way, that they supply the US government with their oils in terms of the military. And I think whatever they sell the government to for $75 a quart is the same thing that we're using. I don't know, I'm just assuming here. It just seems very amazing in terms of compounds, Oh my God, I missed so many questions here. Sorry, but I'm getting some great love here from TikTok. So guys, keep it up. Really appreciate each and every one of you. I bought my lifted Cayenne 3 years ago. I love Cayennes. Rollins Kitchens, I had a Cayenne Turbo S. That thing was fun. Flashed it. It was just a bit of a gas guzzler, but that thing was the most fun I've had in a very luxurious manner. It was just really a monster and can embarrass our cars out there, which is quite interesting as well. Exo Truck, as always, has some great questions, saying, I'm wondering if I can swap my 57mm turbo to a 62 to make a few more horsepower the same boost level, but I'm already at the advertised limit of the motor. Yes and yes. So the sad thing, Exo Truck, is that when you go from a 57mm inducer to a 62, you can make the same amount of power at a lower boost level even, but you're almost robbing Peter to pay Paul because your area under curve will suffer slightly, meaning you will have the opportunity where your setup will be a little laggier just because of the size of your compressor wheel and being able to spool up to create the velocity and mass flow rate to get you the power that you need. Because for those of you who may or may not know, the key to making power in an internal combustion engine is to put as much air as possible, cool air as possible into the engine with appropriate amount of fuel. So a turbocharger uses the spent gases and also heat from the exhaust to turn a cogged turbine that's cogged to a compressor, and the compressor spins and then pressurizes the intake. The larger the wheel, the more time it takes to be able to create that pressure. But the larger the wheel, the more mass flow rate you're gonna have more power. So Exo Truck, if you are happy at your 57mm in terms of power and you're at the limit, you may even want to go the other direction to get even more spool to try and push the setup a little bit further to have even a wider area in the curve than going bigger. Bigger is if you want to make more power. And if you're the limit of your engine, I'll say keep things there or go slightly smaller or stay with the same 57mm with different aerodynamics because aero plays a role. Not all 57mm are created equally. You may have something, let's say from Precision, and you may go to a Garrett 57mm, and the Garrett is a lot more efficient, spools quicker, and gets you to that power, but also picks up a lot of bottom end for you. So either staying with a different aero, the same size, or going slightly smaller may be the bet. Going larger will rob Peter and pay Paul, for lack of a better phrase, and forgive me for being redundant, you know? Matt Thurman, yes, he did also on Mythbusters. Yes, I replaced Grant on Mythbusters, bless his soul. And yeah, the Moto Mythbusters franchise now consists of myself, Faye, and also Tori. So yes. Let's see here. Oh, Carols and Pigs, long time no see. Good seeing you are everywhere. Carols and Pigs I saw last time. I didn't see you this past weekend, but last time we had an event out in Orange County at a Rodeo 39 public market. It was put together by our good friends at Brecky. It was ridiculous. The whole place was packed. I was there as early as 6 something in the morning and went on to almost close to noon. It was ridiculous, and just the amount of variety of high-end cars and well put together projects. If you love JDM, you had a representation there. I saw 2 Pajeros, one of them even had like turbo fans. It was just sick. If you love Lamborghinis, Italian cars, there was tons of them there. There's even a Lambo there with a 2JZ. If you love Porsches, I had mine. There was a Porsche galore. It was just a wonderful event. And then fast forward to this past weekend, we had an event that was put together by a G's on Sunday, where we started out in Chinatown and did a nice little cruise, dare I say, rally to Pasadena, to Guisados. And it was just a wonderful event as well. So one thing about California is that the car culture is ridiculous, especially in SoCal, especially in Los Angeles. If you love variety, whether it's American Muscle, JDM spec vehicles, JDM Plus, if you love European cars, whether you're looking at the English vehicles in particular, or German cars, Italian, you name it, it's there. It's just a great mash of different kind of cars and car cultures, and everyone gets along and supports each other. It's so beautiful. Whether you love petrol, EVs, hydrogen, you name it, everything is there. It's just amazing. Total Tech, the Civic Wagon is next level. Thank you so much, appreciate that. Tuna No Crust Garage, good morning to you as well. Afternoon here now, because we're past the noon time. For those of my friends on the East Coast are looking at 3 p.m. plus. So yeah, by all means. Tuna No Crust Garage says, not surprised, there are aviation related. Fuels in aviation have extremely high resistances to detonation. JPX, for example, and resistance for breaking down when mixed oils. Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing. You're absolutely right. Warrior Fella on YouTube is also asking, how's it going, BC? Things are going great. It is hot. It is hot. It is so callous. Matter of fact, last time I was here, I put on the swamp cooler, which is right there behind me, but it made a little bit of background noise, so I apologize for that. So please, please, please forgive me. What is your fastest car? Says Death Cab for Cutie. Now, people tend to, I would say, confuse fast with quick, but I would tell you which is the fastest in terms of top speed, and it'll be probably the M16 right here, based upon the gearing and the engine capabilities of this, which is 902 horsepower. This vehicle can do 200 miles per hour plus, no challenge, okay? In terms of acceleration of my Porsche fleet, the K3V has a 0 to 60 of 206, much lighter than the Mobi, so much quicker from 0 to 60, so it's extremely quick in terms of quickness. But bar none, something that's a sub 0 to 60 in terms of 0 to 60 times, or sub 2 seconds 0 to 60, is the Bisimoto Plaid. That thing is ridiculous. It is the quickest car in my fleet in terms of acceleration, but top speed wise, it'll be a pretty interesting race between that and this M16 right here. Let's see here. Do you still make wheels? Says Club Sport Lang. Oh my God, I never did make Bisimoto wheels. It was actually a co-branding between us and Circle Racing years ago. And nowadays, I do a lot with our friends from Brixton. So you said Brixton Forge wheels there, Brixton Forge wheels there. Brixton's going on that one. There's Brixton going on that one. So Brixton Forge is kind of my technical partner when it comes to wheels right now. But the Bisimoto Fighter Special wheels, we haven't done those since, dare I say, 2010. It's been a while, but thank you so much, you know. Have you seen a 930 Turbo by EVEX? No, I have not, but do tell. I love technology. I love learning and seeing what my peers are doing out there in the performance world. Awesome Garage Bro says Death Cab for Cutie 1. Thank you so much, appreciate that. Eric Evo Beamer says, if I DM you, can you send me the audio info? Yes, I can, with more than happy opportunities. I'll be more than happy to do that for you, in other words. I'll be more than honored to. Around 600 all-wheel drive horsepower, looking for 7. Then you gotta do that. Make sure you do what I do, brother, Exo Truck. Over-engineer your power plant so you can do whatever you want, to be honest with you. That's the way to go. So if your rods or your rod bolts or the shortcomings, please do. If it's your sleeve it. Do what you can so you can enjoy your project and push 700-800 horsepower with no qualm at all. Germany in the house, courtesy of I am Benno1. Thank you so much for joining us from across the pond. Appreciate you. I'll be visiting your area hopefully sometime soon. I ran a 2.0 all-wheel drive 92 GSX, 400 horsepower, says Wallace Kitchens. How reliable was that? I hear a lot about GSXs. I'm very curious indeed, but that's really good. I love the fact that you had a really cool project over there, you know? Joe Up Oliveira is asking, how do we know what oil grade to use? Well, it depends on your engine builder and what's recommended by the manufacturer. And I do have a rule of thumb. So most manufacturers tend to have a designation on oils based upon your use and also climate. So in some hot climates where it's very tropical, like in Africa where I'm from, or the Middle East, you tend to see a lot of use of 1040 and 2050, right? But let's say example in my 1,000 horsepower minivan, that came with a factory fill of 020. But since I boosted it and still stayed with factory bearing clearances, I went one step to 530. So 530 pure oil is what I use in the van. This Porsche right here, this is nowhere near factory horsepower. It's a water-cooled flat 6 Porsche 996 turbo power plant. It asked for 10W40 in the factory fill, but because of the power I did and staying close to factory tolerances in the build as well, I run 2050 in this particular build. So if it's a natural aspirated setup that I go turbocharged, I tend to go one step up. If it is something that is a regular factory fill within normal parameters and use, I still with the factory recommendations. If you have an engine builder who does engine building clearances properly, they will be more than happy to recommend some oil clearances for you. But most cars that I see coming through here, you tend to use 10W40. I see a lot of the Subarus, a lot of Hondas that have clearances in the teens to the low 20s, and it seems to do extremely well for them, where they don't give up a lot of power and pumping losses while getting the protection that they need and desire. So I hope that helps indeed. And it doesn't matter if I'm using petrol or 85, I kind of stay with that. I run flex fuel on this. The Odyssey runs flex fuel as well. So yeah, it's a lot of fun, a lot of fun indeed. Okay, let's see here. Will you be at the Ontario's Cars and Coffee on Saturday? I think the Ontario Cars and Coffee is on Sunday, but I'm traveling Sunday. I'm doing a road trip with the family. So that being said, unfortunately, I will not be there on Sunday. If it's Saturday, I may be able to attend, but if it's Sunday, can't do it. I love your work with Porsche, says Longstrong. Thank you so much. Canepa, I am from the Canepa and the collection. Amazing collection indeed, but I pale in comparison to what Canepa and the team have over there. But thank you so much for the kind words nonetheless. Having Orbis hybrid rear-wheel drive units for FK8 and FL5, says Sleeper vs. Flash. No, I have not seen that. Wait a minute. The Orbis. Oh, wait a minute. I saw that years ago. I saw that for the FK8. I think that's where they had a type of disc style electric motors affixed to the rear wheels. I think I saw that on display. Didn't have the opportunity to explore that. Didn't know they had it for the FL5, but yes, I did come across that. And that's as far back as SEMA pre-pandemic is when I saw that. I was quite intrigued, but didn't have the opportunity to get intimate with it. I'd love to be able to drive it and see how it works and see how well it adapts. And I don't know what the current pricing is. I just saw it as a pretty cool hybrid setup where it's like a chassis assist. It's not integrated into the motor. It's just a separate setup that went on the rear wheels. So correct me if I'm wrong. Bless this man, says David Roy from YouTube. Thanks for the kind words. Appreciate that. What's the recommendation on breaking in piston rings for K24, says Dave Roy. I love this question. There are two ways that I tend to break in motors, and I prefer one over the other. What I prefer in breaking engines in is on the dyno, especially using a Dynapack dynamometer that allows you to do partial and full throttle tuning. And what do I typically do? When I first have a brand new engine with break-in oil, and yes, Puro also makes break-in oils with high zinc to protect your engines, allow for that nice interaction between your piston rings and also your sleeve to allow for perfect sealing, and also to protect your bearings upon the initial startup. When I first put, let's say, an SAE30, SAE40 Puro break-in oil, I start the car up, bring the operating temperature, make sure I don't have any leaks, make sure the fluids and everything's proper, make sure my cooling system burped and everything is fine. And when it gets up to operating temperature, I shut it down and let it cool down. Then I drain the oil and change my filter and put in more break-in oil. Then I take it to the dyno. And what I tend to do when I do partial throttle tuning on a Dynapack is I start off with 1500 RPMs, locking the dyno at 1500 and varying the throttle and tuning each cell on my engine management solution. Then go to 2000, then 2500, then 3000, then 3500, then 4000, 4500. Locking at those RPMs and then varying the throttle. And that allows me to have a good braking and varying the RPM while doing it as well, and load. By the time I'm done with a 2 to 3 hour tune, because after that I start doing sweeps, the engine is broken in very properly. When I do leak down, it's close to 2% or less, which is amazing. Now, let's say you don't have access to that, or maybe it's just a factory setup that you have over there, Dave Roy, and you don't want to be able to have an opportunity where you wash your rings or have any problems. Let's say you have a factory setup and your tune is ideal, your enclosed loop thing's okay. You could drive around, if it's allowed, in your vicinity and break it in. But the key thing is not to keep it at a constant RPM. You need to vary the RPM and vary the load activities to allow your piston rings to seat and break in properly. So what does that look like? It looks like you're starting your car up and driving around the freeway or main roads and letting off and getting into it and letting off and getting into it. And close to 500 miles, you have an opportunity to have some decent kind of break-in. And as you go ahead and even continue to leave your break-in oil in, I wouldn't change to synthetic until you get at least to a couple thousand miles, at least 2,000 or more miles, and then switch over to your synthetic of choice. Or else you run the risk of not sealing properly. On the dyno, what I've done, where I gave the example earlier on of doing partial throttle and full throttle tune, when the session is done, you can drain out and put your synthetic of choice with impeccable sealing and have no challenge whatsoever. As you can imagine, even with race cars, it's impossible to drive around the street, right? So the dyno break-in is great for both street and race cars as well. My fuel was rich and smoked pretty bad, says Dave Roy. Once again, you need to have some kind of base map that allows you to have closed loop and keep it close to stoichiometric when driving around. If you're doing that, the best bet is on the dyno and not using synthetic, but a proper break-in oil. If you go to Bisimoto website, you will see SAE30 and SAE40 for break-in. If you're running a 5W30 fill for your engine, you can use a lower, it's like 5W30, 0W20, use the SAE30 pure break-in oil. If you're thicker, if you're using 10W40, 2050, 2060, whatever the case may be, use the SAE40 break-in oil, and we have some in stock and we'll definitely take good care of you. All right, let's see here. I need some water, it's really hot back here, you know? Yeah, I don't like the how fast it is question, says Exo Truck. I like saying it's quick. Yes, and you know, the proper way Exo Truck is fast is really how fast it goes speed-wise, mile per hour. Quick is acceleration. But people tend to use them interchangeably. But I'm pretty particular with that. So when I get that question, I tend to, how should I say, give an answer for both, no matter what. Good day, Dapper Dabber 710. Good seeing you. So it's always good seeing you here, which is great. Nice. Well, that's an old school reference for the week, says Rollins Kitchens. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. I'm old school. I like old school stuff. As you can see where I'm surrounded. I love old cars. I'm not a fan of old technology. I like new stuff, you know? Michael Wilson said, love your work. Thanks for the kind words. Once again, I cannot reiterate more than normal. It's not just me. I have a great team here that supports me. Without them, none of this comes to light. So yes, thank you for the kind words, but it definitely is a team effort and I'm nothing without my teammates. Let's see. It's a bummer, says Rollins Kitchens. I too street raced and kept losing a ton to Rob Dunn vehicles. They would stop at 99, made me mad. Oh my God. Well, for me, you know what made me stop street racing was this city of Ontario. I used to do a lot of racing in Compton, quite a bit in Wilmington, California. A little bit of money was happening in Sylmar, but people tend to shoot out there a lot, so I wasn't a big Sylmar fan. But I came to Ontario, not much money out here in Ontario for racing, but I saw someone pass away out here and I quit. Funny thing is, I met a client years ago that also was there the same night. We didn't know each other, but he was there the same night I was there, and the same thing, his experience seeing that person pass away. It was a Mustang and Integra racing. And Integra stopped the Mustang, I didn't. And he passed away, we all kind of got out of there. But it made him stop street racing, it made me quit cold turkey, and I went to the track only after that. So yeah, I didn't know that Rob for street race. He's coming here to test stuff. He's used our dyno with much success, and I didn't know he street raced. So that's interesting. I'm gonna give him a hard time when I see him next time at McFadden. It's a local joint here where we buy a lot of bolts. I keep running into him over there. I'm gonna give him a hard time, you know? Sleeper vs. Flash says, yes, on your point, they're almost ready for production. Please look at it for at SEMA. Okay, I'll take a look. If they're gonna be there this year, we'll be there too. The team and I will be at SEMA as we always are. Jonathan, are you going to SEMA this year? Yep, are you going to SEMA? Jonathan will be there, we'll look for him, we'll check it out, see what's going on. Absolutely. All right, let's see you. Uncle, hello Elmer, Uncle, good seeing you. I've known you for years. Hopefully you and the family are doing well. Thanks so much for joining my Tech Tuesday. What kind of customer cars do you do? Anything. As I mentioned earlier on, I'm surrounded by a lot of Porsches, but as you see further down, there's a Rolls Royce. There's a custom Kalani, which is like a one-off vehicle that's right there as well. There's a Neo EP9 that's back there. As you go further into the facility, you see everything from Hyundais to VWs, you name it. I just love cars. Think of me as the Jay Leno of performance, where I'm not particular to one particular marquee. I'm not like Seinfeld, who loves Porsches like crazy, right? Jay Leno loves everything from steam engines to EVs, from Studebakers to Bentleys. He loves it all. So I'm the same way. I'm the same way, dude, you know? How do you say your name properly? Is it Brahan? Any advice for someone who's young who wants a fast car in the future like a GTR? Work. Work hard, save up your resources, and do it. Absolutely, that's the way to go. I mean, there's no other way but to work hard and being responsible with your resources. I remember seeing 935s for the first time in Monterey, and I was blown away like would I ever. But I had to go to try and build one of those, and it was very difficult and challenging. Brian, thank you, Brian. And so that being said, it was a journey that was very difficult, but achievable, and it made me happier than you name what, you know? How was Jay in the Civic Wagon, says Clubber 9777. It was funny because Jay made a joke, and I was hoping he'll make it on film, but it didn't. And the joke was that it feels like a bar stool that's really super fast. It was the fastest bar stool ever. And it was the first, maybe the only all-wheel drive Honda that he's driven in a long time. And the funny thing is that, I guess I can talk about it now because it's been such a long time. If you watch that YouTube video of Jay Leno on the Bisimoto Civic Wagon, it was a really short episode, unlike others, right? Even short for our standards, because I've been on the show 6 times. The funny thing is that the production crew had to cut out a majority of the videos because Jay Leno was street racing people in Burbank with a wagon. We came across a C6 Corvette. He revved on, they raced, he spanked the Corvette. Then there was a Mustang, which I was terrified because you know how Mustangs are crowd pleasers. Same thing. Then there's a Civic Si, which there was no chance with that, of course. It spanked the Civic SI, and this guy was just revving, and cops saw us because it's Jade. We didn't get in trouble. It was just amazing. We had a blast. So, of course, the production crew couldn't put that on air. So, that being said, they were telling Jay, stop doing that. But Jay's Jay. He does what he wants. It was great. I love filming with him. And we're going to be seeing him hopefully this year, if not early 2 quarters from now. So, yeah, Jay fondly and lovingly said to me that if I built a bicycle, he would drive it. He really appreciates what we do and loves us a lot, you know? They've always said, yeah, I need to adjust my fuel map on the Howtech. Thank you, sir. Yeah, please do. Make sure you're close to tokametry because wash your rings is not fun. If you wash your rings, you cannot recover from it. And unfortunately, you have to re-hone and re-ring your motor, and that is not fun. It's quite labor intensive and a lot of work. Anyway, speaking of work, I have to get back to work. The team's been waiting for me because they're being kind enough to keep it quiet while I'm interacting with all of you from across the globe. But thank you so much for being part of this wonderful Tech Tuesday. I appreciate each and every one of you. Look forward to seeing you next week, Tuesday. Will I be here? We'll see. Will I be at a different location? I don't know. But whatever the case may be, it will be exciting. Take care, everyone. Stay safe and see you next time. Cheers.